Finally, King Charles strikes back with undeniable proof of Archie and Lilibet's true identity. The evidence is here shattering Meghan and Harry's claims once and for all. Could this be the biggest counterattack in the royal feud? Let's dive in and find out in this video. What do you think about the latest royal drama? Do you believe Meghan's claims about Archie and Lilibet? If you do, drop a 1 in the comments. If not, leave a 0. Stick around to watch the video and uncover the shocking truth King Charles just revealed, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to support the channel. If the bloodline of the British monarchy is called into question tonight behind the closed doors of Kensington Palace, a DNA revelation has surfaced showing that Archie Harrison and Lilibet Diana share no genetic connection to the Windsor family, not even to Prince Harry himself. This disclosure threatens to shatter decades of royal tradition, casting doubt on their claims to royal titles and succession rights. It is a shock not only to the royal family, but also to the public at large. It all began with silence. A single document bearing the Kensington Palace seal was quietly leaked to a trusted royal journalist without fanfare, no press conference, and no comment from the palace. Only 5 words were scrawled at the margin, with a chilling conclusion: "No Windsor blood detected." This sparked a heated debate over the legitimacy of royal claims, sending everyone into a search for a truth that had long been concealed. For years, rumors had circulated in the shadows. Whispers, slowly morphed into tabloid fodder conspiracies, appeared on forums and were shared across social media feeds. But this was different. This was evidence. Cold, clinical proof that threatened to unravel the very foundation of the royal lineage. From the moment Prince Harry and Meghan Markle announced the birth of their son Archie Harrison Mountbatten, the public had noticed the strange absence of the usual royal rituals. There were no steps in the hospital, no medical details, no official doctor reports, and most importantly, no actual living baby. In the critical weeks that followed, similar uncertainties arose when their daughter Lilibet Diana was born. Fans were provided with carefully arranged photos, backlit images, and a Netflix documentary, but there was never full transparency. At first, only a small portion of the observant community voiced doubts, but now it has been confirmed as an undeniable truth. Archie and Lilibet truly have no biological connection to the Windsor family. This revelation is not just about biology. It touches on succession, national identity, and the sanctity of truth in a monarchy that has endured through wars, scandals, and assassinations. When Meghan Markle and Prince Harry stepped down from their royal duties, the royal family continued to publicly mention their children using respectful titles without legal genetic basis. In response, Kensington Palace took a step to push back. DNA reports were never intended for public disclosure. They were merely part of an internal audit regarding the official line of succession, a matter that has become increasingly delicate as King Charles's reign faces growing pressure. The report was handled by forensic experts working under the Royal Protocol Office, an elite internal team tasked with managing the most stringent legal compliance issues of the monarchy. What they found left no room for interpretation. Samples from both children showed no chromosomal link to Prince Harry or any member of the Windsor family, living or deceased. This means that genetically Archie Harrison and Lilibet Diana are not Windsor and are not eligible to inherit the royal throne. They are even ineligible to bear the Windsor surname. This is a bombshell that changes everything, not just for the Sussexes, but for the entire British monarchy. The palace is said to have prepared appropriate actions to handle the situation, but before we decode the silent fury behind Kensington's counterattack, we need to go back to where it all began. The subtle evasions, the hospital mysteries, and the contradictions when looking back will tell a different story, a story very different from what the public has been sold. Archie Harrison, the son of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, was born as the first mixed-race child in the modern royal family. It was an iconic event, but the usual procedures were quietly overlooked. While Kate Middleton beamed with every child outside the hospital, Meghan opted for complete privacy. No doctors were named, no nurses were interviewed, and no footage was leaked. A simple palace announcement reported that Meghan had gone into labor, and a few hours later, news broke that Archie had been born. Even veteran royal reporters admitted that something was amiss. It was unclear whether the birth took place at the hospital or at the couple's private residence. The announcement of Meghan's labor came only after the baby had been born, which initially seemed like a modern parenting choice on Meghan's part. However, now with the DNA revelations, the situation appears to have been orchestrated far more deliberately. The birth of Lilibet Diana was no different. There was no official hospital, no medical staff on record, and the birth announcement in California lacked any public certification. Once again, privacy was cited to explain this deviation. However, in a royal family where public duty begins the moment a child is born, this discrepancy was not only an act of defiance, but also highly suspicious. The British public has long been divided over the Sussexes' departure from royal life. Some see it as a reasonable escape from the intense scrutiny of the monarchy, while others view it as a money-making scheme, a way to capitalize on the royal brand without taking on any responsibility. However, after these revelations, the stakes have risen significantly. It's no longer just about lifestyle choices or media coverage. It now concerns the integrity of the monarchy itself. Kensington Palace is believed to have decided to publicly reveal the DNA test results not out of a desire for revenge, but because it is a constitutional necessity. DNA verification is now not only about biological truth, but also concerns succession rights, royal assets, and the future influence of the monarchy. Those supporting the palace urge King Charles and Prince William to act swiftly to protect the historical and future bloodline of the royal family. Meghan Markle is said to have been notified before the news reached royal reporters. Her reaction was reportedly one of anger and hostility. She threatened legal action while Prince Harry, according to sources, was emotionally shocked and unusually silent. Since the DNA leak began, Prince Harry has made no public statements. These events are raising significant questions about the future of the British monarchy. Will titles be revoked? Will Parliament intervene to pass laws formalizing succession rules based on DNA verification? And will Harry and Meghan be forced to publicly withdraw their children's claims to royal status? All of these remain unanswered, awaiting a response from the royal family. The British monarchy has faced numerous scandals in the past, from affairs and financial corruption to abdications. However, they have never before encountered a scandal that questions the legitimacy of their bloodline and the future of the monarchy. And if what palace sources are saying is true, Kensington Palace is far from done. This is just the beginning of a larger effort to expose what one royal insider has called the greatest deception ever carried out within the royal walls. The British monarchy has long been built on a solid foundation royal bloodline. Unlike a presidency elected by votes or a political office power in the British monarchy, is tied to lineage where ancestry serves as the guarantee of legitimacy. Every monarch sitting on the throne must have royal blood, which is why any doubts regarding the biological connection of a royal heir are no small matter. This is a genuine constitutional crisis, not just a family scandal. To understand the significance of this DNA revelation, we must look back at the history of the monarchy. When William the Conqueror seized the English throne in 1066, he said a precedent succession had to be justified either through conquest or legitimate inheritance. Today, in a modern democratic society, royal succession remains protected as the sole reason for the monarchy's existence. That is why bloodline, rather than qualities like virtue or leadership skills, is the most crucial factor in maintaining the British crown. The British royal family has a long lineage, nearly a millennium old, carefully documented and verified by experts and historians. Every child born into the royal family is not only honored emotionally, but also recorded verified and has a clear birth date with witnesses. Everything must be transparent, indisputable. Ownership, responsibilities, and roles within the royal family all depend on the assumption that an heir must truly be who they claim to be. Therefore, the lack of transparency surrounding the births of children like Archie Harrison and Lilibet Diana has raised serious concerns within the palace. While the public may debate whether Meghan was too private, legal advisors are becoming increasingly worried. This is an unprecedented situation in recent history where royal family members have failed to provide any official documentation regarding their children's birth dates. Throughout history, royal marriages have not been solely about love. They have been power alliances designed to strengthen and protect the royal bloodline. Even in modern times, the marriage of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, although seen as a love story, was in fact a union between distant relatives sharing the royal bloodline. This was considered essential to maintain the integrity of the royal lineage. This explains why the British royal family has resisted reforms to the structure of succession. While many constitutional monarchies in Europe have made changes in the UK royal bloodline, remains the unchangeable factor in the system of succession. The British monarchy may be a ceremonial institution, but it is also deeply rooted in legality and symbolism. To ensure the monarchy's survival, biological legitimacy must always be protected absolutely. When the confirmation of biological heritage is in doubt, the entire monarchy stands on unstable ground. The revelation that Archie and Lilibet do not share DNA with the Windsor lineage creates a serious challenge not only for the Sussex family, but also for the constitutional system of the United Kingdom. Their names have appeared in the official line of succession for years, and while they were not granted the HRH titles at birth, it was still assumed they could inherit them under King Charles's reign. The line of succession is not only symbolic, but also governs decisions in times of crisis. For instance, if all direct heirs were to perish in a catastrophic event, the line of succession would determine who would be the next leader of the monarchy. Therefore, clarity in the order of succession is essential. Fabrications or claims without proper documentation cannot be allowed to obscure this transparency. For Meghan and Harry, introducing children with no biological link to the royal family into the line of succession is not only ethically dubious, but also a potential constitutional deception. Some royal scholars have pointed out that this situation bears similarities to past scandals regarding the legitimacy of the royal family. For instance, in the 15th century, Princes Edward V and Richard were rumored to have been murdered by their uncle Richard III, partly due to doubts surrounding their legitimacy. More recently, in the 20th century, there were rumors about the paternity of Prince Albert Victor, Duke of Clarence. However, never before in modern times has the monarchy faced a scenario where children presented as heirs could have no actual biological connection to the royal lineage. A former royal historian stated that the palace was aware of the contradictions surrounding Meghan's pregnancy, but hesitated to take action due to fears of political backlash, accusations of racism, or allegations of bullying. This delay, this silence, allowed the situation to spiral out of control, and now the monarchy faces an issue that has never been publicly challenged before until scientific truths had to be brought into the light. Royal blood is not only important because it determines succession, but also because it binds the crown to the people of Britain. When the nation accepts a monarch, they do so on the basis that the individual is the living embodiment of the nation's heritage. If the monarch's heirs are not truly their own, the public may feel deceived when swearing loyalty to an illusion. This not only damages the royal family's reputation, but also disrupts the trust and bond between the ruler and the people. In some royalist circles, the current debate is not only about Meghan's actions, but also about the failure of the system to detect and prevent this deception. The questions now are no longer hypothetical, but urgent matters. Should DNA testing be mandatory for future royal heirs? These questions, which could have previously been mere assumptions, have now become real issues that need to be addressed. The British public funds the royal family partly through the sovereign grant from the Crown Estate. This funding covers expenses such as security, housing, travel, and education for senior members of the royal family. In the past, this support was extended to the Sussexes and their children. If those children never had biological rights to a royal title, the potential misuse of financial resources could soon become an issue that needs to be addressed. Seriously, what do you all think about British taxpayers funding the royal family, including the Sussexes, through the sovereign grant? If Archie and Lilibet have no biological claim to royal titles, could this mean there's been a misuse of funds? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this is an issue that needs to be addressed ASAP? Don't forget to hit that like button and share this video if you want more deep dives into royal drama. Keep watching for even more shocking details. The confirmation that Archie and Lilibet do not share DNA with the Windsor lineage has not only caused a public relations shock, but also opened the door to a legal and political backlash that could lead to the revocation of titles, the revision of succession orders, and even a demand for the Sussexes to publicly amend their records. There is an increasing consensus among constitutional experts that Parliament may need to intervene and pass a law requiring DNA verification for heirs in the line of succession. If enacted, this law would mark the first time in modern British history that scientific evidence would be required in royal succession rituals. However, the most notable aspect is not the legal or political ramifications, but rather the public perception. The monarchy exists through the trust of the people. Its power can only be sustained when the public believes in its legitimacy. When this trust is damaged, when titles can be exploited and truths concealed, the entire institution stands on the brink of irrelevance. If Kensington does not act, if it allows these wrongdoings to take root permanently, the consequences may become irreversible. The royal bloodline is not important due to superstition or tradition, but because it is the only factor that distinguishes the monarchy from a mere spectacle. It is what gives weight to the crown, meaning to the lineage and structure, to a nation still deeply connected to its symbolic heritage. The truth has emerged, and now it's time for action. What happens next? How Parliament, the palace, and the people respond will determine whether the monarchy will rise stronger or dissolve more than ever before. From the outside, Harry and Meghan's story appears to be a modern royal fairy tale. A young prince, long considered the backup, finds love across the Atlantic with an American actress. She brings diversity and contemporary allure to the royal family. However, beneath the glitz of the public narrative, a darker undercurrent begins to emerge. The omissions, the imperfections, and the incongruent moments start to reveal themselves. The story is being tightly spun by the media, but those with a keen eye will notice the unsettling signs. The first seeds of doubt regarding the birth of Archie Harrison were sown on the day he was born, or rather the day the announcement was made. On May 6, 2019, the palace announced that Meghan Markle had gone into labor. However, just a few hours later, another announcement revealed that the baby had been born early that morning. The discrepancy between the two statements drew attention. Why announce labor without immediately sharing news of the birth, an event typically made public as soon as possible? This raised questions about why the royal birth information was delayed, a moment that should have been disclosed right away. Traditionally, the birth of a royal child would follow a strict protocol. At least one certified royal doctor with a clear identity would sign off on the birth, with a group of witnesses present. In the past, royal family members gave birth in public hospitals where cameras were always ready and press releases were almost issued in real time. However, with Archie, things were different. No specific hospital was named, no birth certificate was issued immediately, and no doctor was made public. Yet this was justified by the Sussexes' claim of privacy, something many accepted. However, privacy within the royal family is rarely absolute, especially when it comes to the birth of a royal heir. The story of Eve and Maximilian Cooper is living proof that love isn't confined by race or cultural background, but is built on a deep connection between souls and genuine communication. They show that when two people embrace their differences and grow together, love becomes a powerful force that unites and uplifts them, creating a meaningful shared journey filled with purpose and fulfillment. Meghan completely refused to publicly share the key moments of her childbirth. Instead, a carefully staged photo was released a few days later, not at the hospital, but in a controlled setting at Windsor Castle. In the photo, Meghan and Harry stand smiling next to their newborn, tightly swaddled in a blanket with most of the baby's face covered. What stood out was that it was not the mother or father holding the child, but Prince Harry. Meghan barely touched the baby. This moment quickly raised questions. Why was the baby so tightly wrapped if it had been born days earlier? Why wasn't the mother holding her child? Where were the signs of post-birth exhaustion or recovery? Critics were quickly dismissed as conspiracy theorists, but from certain corners of the media and the royal organization, these concerns had practical merit. As the months passed, the public began to notice other oddities. Meghan and Harry occasionally appeared in public with their children, but these moments were rare and often arranged in peculiar ways. The photos showed the baby being held at strange angles or fully covered with hats and blankets, even during summer outings. One appearance at a polo match left Meghan awkwardly posed with her posture stiff and her arms seemingly unfamiliar with the weight of the child. The press attributed this to clumsy parenting, but others suspected something was amiss. Online communities began to meticulously analyze every image and video of the Sussex family. They noticed inconsistencies in the shape of the baby's head from one photo to another, or discrepancies in hair color and ear shape. One particular comparison showed Archie in two photos, one with lighter skin and straight hair, while the other had darker skin and curly hair. Critics suggested this could be due to lighting or natural development, but others suspected something deeper was being hidden. Speculation continued to grow, with reports suggesting that Meghan had used a prosthetic bump at certain stages of her pregnancy. Some videos circulated where her belly appeared to fold unnaturally when she sat down. This sparked a wave of online discussion. Was it simply the result of wearing soft maternity clothes? Or was it evidence that she had never been pregnant? The palace declined to comment and dismissed the theories as absurd, but this silence only fueled the questions, making them grow louder. In June 2021, when Harry and Meghan had completely stepped away from official royal duties and were living in California, the announcement of Lilibet Diana's birth was even more vague than Archie's. No hospital was named, no birth time was provided, and no certificates were publicly released. The couple issued a brief statement confirming the name and birth date, mentioning that both mother and child were healthy. But once again, the official images of the newborn were missing. No authentic photos of Lilibet were shared in the following weeks. As months passed, the Sussex family released a holiday card at the end of 2021, featuring what they claimed was the first image of Lilibet. However, upon zooming in, inconsistencies were pointed out. The child appeared unusually still, and her features seemed digitally altered. A digital forensics expert claimed that the photo might have been heavily edited or even generated by AI. Although this has never been definitively proven, the public's suspicion was unmistakable. A consistent theme emerged. Meghan and Harry had carefully crafted a visual narrative of their family without providing enough concrete evidence. Unprotected, spontaneous moments have proven that these children are not truly integrated into royal life. While other prominent public events such as trooping the color official family photos and royal activities from a young age have seen the participation of William and Kate's children, Archie and Lilibet, have been oddly absent. Even during Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee, when many expected Meghan and Harry to present their family to the public, the children remained hidden. Only vague statements were issued and no images or public videos were shared. An opportunity that was expected to clarify all the speculation was the Netflix documentary series where Meghan and Harry could share real and intimate family moments. However, viewers were met with a meticulously staged production featuring distant shots, blurred backgrounds, and voices without faces. In one scene, Archie can be heard speaking, but his face is never shown. Lilibet appears only fleetingly, with her face partially turned or lit from behind. There were no real-life shots of moments like diaper changes, playtime, or bath time. These moments could have been an opportunity to convince the public that this was a thriving royal family, yet they lacked transparency. While the public has not received transparency, a growing concern within the royal household has begun to emerge. According to multiple sources, staff at Kensington Palace were quietly instructed to create a timeline of events related to both children, including private travel records, medical reports, and correspondence from staff with the Sussexes. The purpose was not to validate conspiracy theories, but rather to prepare for any potential legal or constitutional actions that might arise. A significant shift occurred in early 2024 when an anonymous whistleblower believed to be a former medical advisor to the Sussex family provided documents and testimony. These documents claimed that no official births took place under medical supervision for either child in California or the UK. Additionally, it was reported that a high-level confidentiality agreement had been signed with a surrogate who had been in hiding since 2019. While her identity and role were carefully concealed, details about her began to emerge through palace sources. According to the revelations, Meghan did not carry Archie, and perhaps not Lilibet either. As the story of the Sussex children's births grew more obscure, the palace took discreet action. A forensic genetics company was hired to collect samples from Archie and Lilibet and test them against known genetic material from the Windsor bloodline. The results confirmed that there was no connection to the royal family. Although the public remains unaware of how these samples were collected, the silence surrounding the matter has only fueled further suspicion. The issue became clearer from the very first moments when Archie and Lilibet were introduced to the world. From the outset, something felt off, and now we know what it was. The secret DNA testing has unraveled the truth, but it was carried out in silence with no official announcement or public investigation. Only a quiet directive was issued from Kensington Palace to answer the question that the monarchy had been grappling with for years. Are Archie Harrison and Lilibet Diana truly part of the royal bloodline? Requiring a DNA test is not just a simple legal action, it is a statement of doubt and a breakdown of trust. In the royal world, asking for a DNA test signals that something is deeply wrong. It shows that trust has been shattered to the point where only cold scientific evidence can restore it. The push for DNA testing was not an abrupt reaction, but a slow and cautious process carried out after years of observation and careful consideration. Senior officials within the royal family had noticed abnormalities surrounding the births of Archie and Lilibet, including the lack of transparency in documentation, inconsistencies in the released photos, their absence from public events, and most importantly, the strategic delays in legal registration. Despite these growing concerns, no official action was taken for a long time. The Queen, in her final years, likely wished to maintain peace within the family, while Prince of Wales Charles did not want to further disrupt the situation amid the nation's recovery from the pandemic and the impacts of Brexit. However, after years of silence, the situation could no longer be ignored. In early 2024, pressure from both inside and outside the royal family became impossible to dismiss. The whisper network within Westminster had turned into a roar as members of Parliament began questioning royal spending and the legitimacy of succession rights. A small faction threatened to introduce a bill requiring DNA verification for royal heirs, particularly for those born or residing outside the United Kingdom. At the same time, rumors about the use of surrogacy agreements began to spread more widely. It was at this point that Kensington Palace finally acted, pushing for DNA testing, not from the king, but from the Office of the Lord Chamberlain in cooperation with the Royal Heritage and Protocol Oversight Council. The Royal Heritage and Protocol Oversight Council, although not widely known to the public, is a group of constitutional experts and historians tasked with protecting the legitimacy of the royal lineage. Their authority is not limited to ceremonial duties, but extends to enforcing constitutional regulations. When they issue directives, they are legally binding within the royal family's structure. The testing process was not carried out in public laboratories or through typical government channels. Instead, it was conducted secretly through a research team collaborating with a private genetic research company based in Switzerland, specializing in father-child relationship analysis for high-profile clients. The most shocking aspect of the entire story is the manner in which the samples were obtained. One source claims that the first sample was taken from a discarded toothbrush allegedly belonging to Archie at a private estate in Montecito, California. Although the exact method of obtaining the toothbrush remains unclear, there is speculation about whether an insider cooperated or if a private investigator was hired to carry out the task. The second sample for Lilibet is said to have come from a strand of hair taken from a donated outfit that was sent to a charity auction in the United States. After the samples were compared to secure genetic data from the Windsor bloodline, the results showed no matching genes, notably the absence of the mitochondrial DNA and Y chromosome markers that could be traced through the male lineage of the Windsor family. The test results concluded that there was no genetic connection between Archie Lilibet and the Windsor family. This not only caused a public uproar, but also had far-reaching legal and constitutional consequences, raising questions about succession rights and the future of the monarchy. These events not only damaged the royal family's reputation, but also sparked debates about the legitimacy of inheritance rights and what truly transpired during the births of the Sussex children. The report ended with a sentence that has since been repeated in whispered conversations across the halls of power. No biological relationship with any living member of the royal family can be established. Those who read the report were said to have been stunned, with some even crying, while others sat in silence for several minutes. Several senior advisors to Prince William, including those with close relationships, are believed to have walked out of the room in frustration. These findings not only caused devastation, but also carried profound implications. This was not merely a matter of parental confusion or missing paperwork, but a betrayal of the institution itself. Royal children are not just family members. They are future heads of state with rights to protection, recognition, and roles in ceremonial duties. Inheritance of wealth and historical financial privileges of immense value. The revelation that the two individuals publicly introduced as royal heirs have no biological connection to the Windsor bloodline sent shockwaves through both the royal family and the nation. Once the test results were confirmed, a series of critical decisions had to be made. What would happen with this information, who would be notified, and how far would the consequences reach? The first to be informed was King Charles, who received the report in a private meeting at Clarence House. According to an assistant present, the king read the report slowly and asked only one question: "Are we absolutely certain about this result?" Afterward, Prince William, the heir to the throne, was also informed. His concerns were not only legal, but also how to handle the situation publicly to protect the integrity of the succession. According to sources, William was not angry with the children, but with what he believed was the deception carried out by Harry and Meghan. William's first concern was to ensure that Archie and Lilibet would no longer be recognized in the line of succession. His second concern was the public handling of the announcement, figuring out how to disclose this news without plunging the monarchy into a public scandal. A week later, the information was shared with Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and a small group of constitutional lawyers in the Cabinet Office to begin drafting a legal framework that would allow for the official removal of titles in Parliament without disrupting the royal family. However, the plan faltered. A second leak, this time from an international journalist with connections to the Swiss medical laboratories, threatened to expose the entire affair. Fearing the loss of control, the palace decided to release a carefully worded internal memorandum to confirm that an internal review of the lineage records had led to clarifications regarding succession protocol. However, this statement does not directly address Meghan's or the children's DNA, but the implication is unmistakable to those who have been following closely. Now, the question is no longer whether Archie and Lilibet are royal, as that issue has been resolved by science. The big question now is, what happens next? Will Parliament demand full disclosure? Will Harry and Meghan be forced to respond publicly? Can the palace survive this level of controversy without constitutional reform? Kensington remains firm. No public retaliation, no public accusations, only a strong, quiet assertion. The truth is known and action will be taken. In the history of royal scandals, from abdications to affairs, this case may be the most serious because this time it's not just about love, loyalty, or legacy, it's about bloodline, the very thing that decides who wears the crown. Although this story has been whispered in the shadows of high society, speculated and passed along through royal reporters' conversations and obscure online forums, only recently has the truth about this issue begun to come to light. The rumor that Meghan Markle may have used a surrogate to give birth to Archie Harrison and possibly Lilibet Diana was initially dismissed as an outrageous and baseless claim, often dismissed as prejudice. However, behind the palace walls, where optics once took a back seat to order, those whispers began to turn into frantic, urgent questions. Now, with the DNA test results shaking the very foundation of the monarchy pieces that once seemed disconnected, the odd photos taken at strange moments, a mysteriously lost medical trace, the secrecy surrounding the birth dates suddenly start to form a chillingly coherent picture. And at the center of that picture is a woman known to only a select few whose silence has been ensured by a tightly bound legal contract. The woman known as JG is the one who carried Archie Harrison to full term. Her story began as a secret medical arrangement between specialists, but has since evolved into one of the most shocking royal revelations in modern history. According to exclusive documents reviewed by senior officials at Kensington Palace, JG was approached in 2018 through a private agency in the United States that specializes in surrogacy arrangements for celebrities. These agencies operate with the utmost discretion, often employing former intelligence officers as coordinators with the goal of protecting the identities of all parties involved at all costs. JG is a healthy woman in her early 30s, with no history of childbirth complications. She was selected based on specific genetic and physical criteria. The documents she signed included a 20-year non-disclosure agreement (NDA) with criminal penalties for any violations. Reports suggest that the payment for her participation exceeded $750,000, divided into quarterly installments and transferred through foreign accounts linked to charitable funds associated with non-profit organizations connected to the Sussexes. However, it wasn't just the financial scope of the arrangement that shocked investigators, but also the meticulous orchestration of everything surrounding it. At first, JG was not allowed to know the exact identity of the intended parents. All she was told was that the embryo was provided by extremely famous individuals who required exceptional privacy. A legal intermediary, a lawyer who had worked in both California and London, was designated as the official point of contact between the parties. JG only learned the truth about the parents' identity when a private nurse accidentally referred to the child of His Royal Highness in a clinic. From that point, JG claimed she was placed under a witness protection-like regime. She was moved from her home in Arizona to a private estate in Utah, where a medical team monitored her around the clock. All of her communications were screened and tracked. JG claims that she never met Meghan Markle or Prince Harry in person until the final month of the pregnancy. And even then, their meeting was brief, formal, and meticulously staged. Meghan is said to have worn oversized sunglasses and a thick coat indoors, refusing to engage in personal conversations. As her due date approached, JG was transferred to a luxurious birthing suite in Los Angeles, where the clinic closed to the public on the day of the birth. A fake name was used on all hospital forms, and according to her testimony, Meghan and Harry were not present during the birth itself, only arriving several hours later. The story surrounding the surrogate pregnancy and the events surrounding the births of Archie Harrison and Lilibet Diana continues to spark doubt and curiosity within the community. JG, the surrogate for Archie, has faced a tightly controlled life, including isolation, signing confidentiality agreements, and receiving large payments to maintain silence. However, when documents related to the surrogacy were leaked, and information regarding Archie's biological origins was questioned, tension within the royal family and the public began to escalate. Information about financial agreements, confidentiality contracts, and the strict measures taken to maintain privacy have raised significant questions about the legality and honesty in managing events related to the royal family. The story of JG and the emergence of documents verifying the surrogacy point to a scenario that many have long suspected that Archie might not be the biological child of Meghan Markle and Harry, which could severely violate legal regulations regarding royal lineage and impersonation. The shift in how the media and royal commentators have responded has led the public to question even more. Details about surveillance, the absence of genuine family moments, and the editing of birth-related documents have sparked a wave of outrage and calls for the truth. However, every attempt to clarify the situation has been shrouded in darkness and silence, only heightening concerns about transparency on crucial matters, such as royal lineage and succession. This has also sparked a wave of doubt within the royal circles as former aides and palace staff have begun to publicly share their views on the strange way the Sussex children have been treated. The meticulously staged photos, silence surrounding personal issues, and the absence of genuine family moments have raised unanswered questions in the eyes of the public. The surrogacy document leak, although not fully revealing all the details, has been enough to shed light on long-standing doubts about the authenticity of Archie and Lilibet being the biological children of Meghan and Harry. While this story has yet to be officially acknowledged, and the signs of a shift in handling the matter remain unclear, the truth that the public and the palace are now facing could permanently alter the way the royal family is perceived and managed in the future. The revelation that Meghan Markle is not the biological mother of Archie and Lilibet has caused a major shock to her public image. The theories surrounding the use of surrogacy are no longer dismissed, but have become a serious issue with potential legal consequences. This not only threatens Meghan's position within the royal family, but also raises important questions about inheritance rights and criminal responsibility in the registration and verification of royal lineage. With the public events surrounding Archie and Lilibet, the scrutiny from the public and media has created a picture filled with doubt. The images from official ceremonies and the children's appearances have attracted attention not only because of the strict control exerted by the royal family, but also due to the unusual movements and actions of the children. Questions about the authenticity of these children have begun to surface, raising concerns about whether they are truly the biological children of Meghan and Harry. The doll theory. A concept introduced to explain the oddities in public events suggests that Meghan and Harry may have used reborn dolls to substitute for their children in photo shoots and events. The photos and videos capturing rare moments of Archie and Lilibet have sparked significant skepticism, especially when these children do not exhibit the natural movements and reactions typically seen in other infants. The photos and videos of Archie, particularly in public settings, have prompted pediatric behavior experts to question the naturalness of his movements. Doctors have pointed out that Archie's movements in these images appear abnormal, which has raised doubts about the authenticity of the public events involving Meghan and Harry's children. Since Lilibet Diana's introduction, the absence of clear images and the oddities in the photos have sparked the theory that Meghan and Harry may have used reborn dolls or digital effects. Royal photographers and experts have begun to question the authenticity of these children, suggesting that they might be mere staged images or replaced with unrealistic means. The abnormalities in how the Sussex children have been handled and their appearances have led many to begin doubting their authenticity. Former staff, including nannies and service personnel, have revealed that they were not allowed to interact with the children freely and were always given strict instructions on how to approach them. Footage from the Sussexes' Netflix documentaries has also done little to validate the story about the children, only increasing skepticism. The use of dolls or child stand-ins not only raises ethical questions, but also creates concerns about the psychological impact on the Sussex family. Some believe that this method could be a way to protect the family's privacy from media intrusion, while skeptics view it as a serious deception, especially when issues like royal titles and succession are brought into the debate. The development of digital imaging technology and artificial intelligence has blurred the lines between reality and illusion. AI tools can easily mask imperfections and hide inconsistencies in images of the children, making it more difficult to verify their authenticity. These technologies have created hyper-realistic images that could lead viewers to believe the children are real when in fact they may be products of digital manipulation. The ambiguity surrounding the public presentation of the Sussex children, combined with the reborn doll theory, continues to stir public opinion. Questionable images, such as the one of Archie with a clear seam on his wrist, have heightened suspicions about the use of dolls or digital effects. The Sussexes' denial has failed to calm the undercurrent of doubt from both the public and the palace, making the debate over royal lineage and the authenticity of the royal children even more intense. The discoveries regarding the use of dolls and DNA testing, combined with anomalies in the birth documents, have created a larger mosaic of secrecy surrounding the Sussex family. This ambiguity not only raises questions about the Sussex children, but also brings up significant issues about the evolution of the monarchy in the 21st century, where image media and controlled narratives are becoming increasingly pivotal. While the Sussexes build a strong personal brand and media empire, their strategy has become increasingly clear with their collaboration with Netflix. However, despite having control over their own narrative, the Sussexes are paying a price for this protection. The story is being crafted through documentaries and television shows where the family keeps secrets about their children and constructs a royal family image that aligns with their personal aspirations. This not only fuels doubts about authenticity, but also raises questions about public deception. The Sussexes' resistance to publicly sharing images of their children has become a cornerstone of their brand-building strategy. The television series Heart of the Family, released at the end of 2022, revealed aspects of their family life, but deliberately avoided providing clear visual images of their children. This indicates that the Sussexes continue to tightly control their family narrative while protecting their children from public scrutiny, even if the cost is concealing the true images. The strict protocols around filming and showcasing the children have intensified doubts about the authenticity of the Sussex family's images. The use of stand-in shadows and post-production techniques has created a carefully edited reality, blurring the lines between truth and fiction. This control further strengthens the reborn doll theory as the couple constructs a perfect modern royal family image while keeping personal life details tightly concealed. The Sussex family's collaboration with Netflix is not just a brand-building strategy, but also part of a long-term plan to maintain their global presence and influence. Family-focused programs, including those aimed at children, play a crucial role in reinforcing the Sussex family's legacy. However, this raises questions about the truth behind the presented image and whether the couple is exploiting the public to sustain the value of their brand. Although the Sussexes have creative control over their projects, internal tensions within Netflix have begun to arise, particularly concerning concerns about transparency in how children are portrayed. Debates about the inconsistencies in the Sussex family story have sparked fears that if this brand is exposed as a constructed facade, it could have serious consequences for the reputation and public acceptance of this modern royal family. Although Meghan publicly emphasizes her role as a loving and devoted mother, the public images and content from Netflix do not reflect this. These media products seem to create a contradiction between public statements and reality, as the story about their family and children becomes increasingly difficult to control, leading to doubts about the authenticity of the image the Sussexes are constructing. The Sussexes' battle to protect their privacy has strained their relationship with the public. Polls show a decline in empathy towards them, particularly among traditional royal supporters. The modern royal family image that the Sussexes have built seems no longer to be recognized as authentic, but rather as a commercial enterprise. This not only weakens public trust, but also affects the family's credibility in the eyes of the next royal generations. For Kensington Palace, the Sussexes' brand building through Netflix presents an opportunity to separate their image from the official royal family. However, this is also a double-edged sword, as it could lead to a decline in credibility and complicate the relationship between the Sussexes and the traditional royal family. The question of the authenticity of this brand is being increasingly raised by the public and the media. The Sussex family's use of media platforms to build their brand has made them increasingly resemble an entertainment family rather than members of the monarchy. The ongoing controversies surrounding the truth about their children, including revelations about DNA and surrogacy, have led the public and media to continuously question them. This puts the Sussex family in a difficult position as they face strong criticism for turning their personal story into a media product. The crisis caused by the Sussexes is not only related to revelations about their lineage, but also threatens to pull the entire monarchy into a media storm. The palace has expressed frustration that the Sussex family has turned their media platform into a tool to protect an increasingly complex story. Allegations of fabrication and deception not only undermine public trust in the Sussexes, but also raise questions about transparency in managing the royal family's image. With media agreements like Netflix, the UK Parliament will face lively debates about their impact on the monarchy. Lawmakers have differing views on the control of royal titles and commercial media. Some advocate for maintaining transparency in the use of royal imagery, while others argue that the monarchy needs to be adapted to align with modern media platforms. Netflix and the Sussexes' media empire are not only part of their personal strategy, but also at the heart of the royal crisis. The blend of old-world lineage and modern celebrity science creates a captivating story, but one that is not without controversy. The power of storytelling and the Sussex family's public display can create the illusion of a perfect family, but it also puts the monarchy in a difficult position when it comes to maintaining trust and transparency with the public. Wow! What a bombshell revelation from King Charles. The truth about Archie and Lilibet's identity has finally come to light, shaking up everything we thought we knew. What do you think about this royal drama? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get this discussion going. Don't forget to smash that like button if you were as shocked as we were, and subscribe for more jaw-dropping updates on the royal family. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a video, and check out our other videos for more exclusive insights. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Breaking. King Charles has officially ordered an investigation into Meghan and Harry, and the palace is in crisis. The tension between the royal family and the couple is escalating, and the consequences could be far-reaching. What does this mean for their future with the monarchy? Stick around to find out the latest details in this explosive new chapter. The story of Meghan and Harry is capturing the attention of the world. What do you think about this investigation? Is it a necessary move by King Charles, or will it just make things worse? If you agree with King Charles's action, leave a 1, and if not, comment 0. Enjoy the video, and don't forget to leave a sub for support. King Charles has officially launched an investigation into Meghan Markle and Harry, a pivotal decision in the history of the British royal family. After a series of controversies and scandals, the royal family could no longer ignore Meghan and Harry's actions and statements. This decision has not only captured public attention, but also marks a new chapter in the royal family's internal conflict, creating a significant turning point in the recent history of the British monarchy. This is said to be the first time in British royal history that an official investigation has been launched into members of the family. This decision not only marks King Charles's direct intervention, but also sends a strong statement that the reputation and unity of the royal family must be protected at all costs. Is this a fair response to Meghan and Harry's actions, or is it simply a strategy to restore the royal family's image in the eyes of the public? Will Meghan and Harry take this seriously enough to ensure such an investigation is truly thorough? Meghan Markle, a woman with her own career, joined the British royal family through her marriage to Prince Harry in 2018. Upon entering the royal family, Meghan's image quickly drew global media attention. However, shortly after, her relationship with other royal family members began to face challenges. Internal issues gradually surfaced through interviews and public controversies, putting the royal family in a difficult position. Meghan began to share her experiences regarding allegations of racism within the royal family, as well as the injustices she claimed to have faced during her time living there. After stepping down from official duties, Meghan and Harry continued to criticize the family, raising serious questions about the monarchy's lineage and finances. Against this backdrop, King Charles's decision to intervene comes as no surprise. The longer these issues persist, the more serious and uncontrollable they become, especially with King Charles now on the throne. King Charles cannot allow this situation to continue, as it not only affects his personal reputation, but also undermines the stability and image of the royal family. Meghan and Harry have sparked significant public outrage, and if the royal family does not respond promptly, the instability could spread and lead to chaos within the institution. Furthermore, as the British royal family is a traditional institution, publicly airing internal disputes has severely damaged the family's image. As the leader, King Charles cannot let these scandals continue to tarnish the institution he has inherited. The official investigation initiated by King Charles is not only a strategic response to protect the royal family's reputation, but also a way to consolidate his power, demonstrating that he can effectively handle complex issues. However, what's noteworthy is that this decision may not only shed light on the ongoing problems, but also spark new controversies. The continued division of the royal family in the eyes of the public seems inevitable. Will King Charles be able to maintain fairness in this investigation, or will his decision be misunderstood? This investigation is not only an attempt to resolve internal conflicts, but could also be seen as a form of punishment for Meghan and Harry, who have had a strained relationship with the royal family for years. Does this investigation genuinely aim to clarify the issues, or is it simply an effort to address internal tensions? These questions are not only for the royal family, but also a primary concern for the public. Every decision and action by the royal family carries profound consequences and cannot be taken lightly. In his effort to protect the royal institution, King Charles is fully aware that these actions could significantly impact family relationships. From maintaining stability to addressing members no longer engaged in official duties, the investigation launched aims not only to clarify the conflicts, but also to reflect King Charles's ability to handle internal family issues within an institution under immense pressure from the media and public opinion. King Charles's decision to open the investigation could be seen as an effort to restore his public authority, but is it a comprehensive solution to all the issues, or simply an action to preserve personal power within the royal family? Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have had a tumultuous relationship with the royal family. Ever since they decided to step down from their official roles in 2020. Since then, the couple has consistently made public statements, including explosive interviews and remarks criticizing the royal family. These statements have made them the focal point of international media and stirred public debate. Meghan not only exposed her personal struggles, but also strongly criticized deeper issues within the royal family, particularly allegations of racism. Meghan openly shared her experiences with racism during her time as a member of the royal family, particularly in her 2021 interview with Oprah Winfrey. Meghan revealed that there were conversations within the royal family about the skin color of her son Archie, leading many to question the sincerity of the royal family and the core values they claim to uphold. These accusations shocked the public and sparked waves of outrage, even though they were not backed by concrete evidence. They have damaged the royal family's image, especially as they touch on deep fundamental issues within the British royal family. Meghan and Harry did not stop at allegations of racism, but also raised questions about the royal family's bloodline, particularly concerning their children. Although these questions were not supported by concrete evidence, their public airing has led the public to start questioning the transparency and legitimacy of the royal lineage. These statements not only caused confusion about the relationships within the family, but also made many wonder if the royal family was hiding something. Furthermore, Meghan and Harry's actions have prompted the public to question whether they are using the royal family's fame to build their own careers. After stepping down from royal duties, Meghan and Harry turned to commercial activities and personal branding through lucrative contracts and charitable projects. This has sparked controversy over whether they are genuinely seeking personal freedom or simply exploiting their royal status to make money. The public began to question the couple's true motives, especially as there is little information made public about how they manage their finances and commercial contracts. Questions about the origins of these funds and how they are being used have further raised concerns about a lack of transparency and whether these lucrative deals might affect the public's respect for the royal family. The public accusations and lack of restraint in Meghan and Harry's statements have deepened the divide not only within the royal family but also in global public opinion. These actions may have negatively affected the royal family's image, leading many to question the sincerity and decisiveness of the monarchy. Can Meghan and Harry convincingly explain their actions and statements, or is this simply a way to regain the personal freedom they desire? The investigation initiated by King Charles is not a simple decision, as it is not only a response to the personal conflict between Meghan and other family members, but also a move to protect the stability and image of the royal family. The royal family is not just a regular institution, but a symbol of the nation and long-standing traditional values. Therefore, allowing members to cause public conflict would severely affect not only family relationships, but also the image of an entire nation. As the leader, King Charles cannot continue to ignore the disruption caused by Meghan and Harry, especially when their statements and actions have stirred up turmoil not only within the royal family, but also in global public opinion. The official investigation into Meghan and Harry has been announced as a strong move to protect the integrity and reputation of the royal family. This is not an easy decision, as it could further strain relationships between family members. However, in the context of the royal family facing constant criticism from the media and the public, King Charles's decision is not only a firm step, but also a statement that the unity and reputation of the royal family must be protected at all costs. The purpose of the investigation is not only to clarify the allegations made by Meghan and Harry, but also to verify the authenticity of the information they have made public, ranging from accusations of racism to doubts about the royal family's lineage and finances. As the head of the royal family, King Charles cannot allow unresolved issues to continue affecting the integrity of the family. This investigation is not only aimed at clarifying the events that have occurred, but also at helping the royal family control the baseless stories that are circulating in society. However, the question remains whether this decision will help the royal family maintain its reputation without causing unnecessary conflict or division. With the investigation now public, can the royal family avoid creating new rifts, especially between King Charles and members of the family, including Harry, to whom he has shown much affection in the past? The decision to launch this investigation reflects the responsibility King Charles feels toward the royal family, the generations that came before him, and the nation. The royal family is not just an ordinary family, but a symbol of the country and its long-standing traditional values. Therefore, allowing members to create public conflict would not only affect family relationships, but also harm the image of the entire nation. With his leadership role and responsibility to uphold the traditions of the royal family, King Charles may feel that there is no other choice but to open an investigation to clarify any issues. This investigation will not only help King Charles and the royal family address the accusations made by Meghan and Harry, but could also provide an opportunity to establish clearer guidelines for how the royal family should operate and behave in the future. The investigation launched by King Charles may uncover unresolved issues from the past, but another crucial aspect to consider is how the investigation is conducted. Will it ensure objectivity and fairness, or will it be influenced by external factors, particularly since King Charles is the head of the family and could face pressure from various sides? His involvement in the investigation might lead some to believe it is an act of bias, or simply a way to solidify his personal power within the family. A public investigation could clarify any doubts, but it could also increase division within the royal family if not carried out properly. This investigation is certainly raising important questions about fairness and King Charles's involvement. What do you think about the fairness of this investigation? Is it a fair move or simply a way to consolidate his power? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos. This raises the question of whether King Charles can handle the investigation fairly and impartially, and whether he can create an environment where everyone from Meghan and Harry to other family members is given a fair opportunity to be heard and treated justly. Maintaining the integrity of the royal family and handling internal issues delicately is something King Charles must do to protect the family's reputation. This investigation also raises a significant question about whether the royal family can safeguard its reputation without creating further instability. Will this investigation help clarify pressing issues and restore the royal family's integrity? And how long will its impact last? When the news of King Charles's official investigation into Meghan Markle and Prince Harry was made public, the couple's response was far from subdued. Meghan and Harry, who have become the focal point of media and public attention, once again drew attention by openly expressing their dissatisfaction with the investigation. While some may have expected them to accept the decision calmly, the reality was quite different. Meghan relentlessly criticized the royal family and made public statements about what she perceives as the unjust treatment that she and Harry have endured. Meghan publicly criticized the royal family in a recent interview, emphasizing that she felt hurt because the family did not protect her and Harry from public accusations and criticism. She described the investigation as an attack on their dignity and their right to personal choice. These statements not only heightened tensions within the family, but also forced the public to reconsider Meghan's attitude toward the royal family. Although he has not directly participated in recent interviews, Harry also expressed his disagreement with the investigation through Meghan's statements. Meghan and Harry, with their strong statements, continue to expose what they perceive as long-standing issues within the royal family. However, rather than acknowledging the necessity of the investigation to protect the family's reputation, they continue to criticize it publicly. This not only complicates the situation further, but also leaves many feeling disappointed with the couple's attitude. Many view the investigation as an opportunity to clarify issues and resolve disagreements within the royal family. However, with Meghan and Harry's strong resistance, the question remains whether their continuous opposition will yield positive results for both them and the royal family. Although Meghan and Harry may be media stars, returning to the royal family and regaining public acceptance may not be easy if they fail to adjust their behavior. Continuing to resist without self-awareness will only distance them from the family and make it harder for the public to sympathize. It can be said that Meghan and Harry's response has highlighted an undeniable reality: their shamelessness and lack of self-awareness as they refuse to reflect on their actions and the impact they may cause. This not only reflects an issue in their relationship with the royal family, but also underscores the deep divide between a responsible family and individuals who want to protect their personal freedom without fully understanding the long-term consequences of their actions. King Charles's decision to launch an investigation into Meghan Markle and Harry is not just an administrative action, but also a bold and strategic move. Many in the public and media have had mixed reactions to this decision. Some argue that King Charles is being too harsh and decisive, while others believe it is a necessary action to protect the royal family's reputation, which has been severely damaged by the scandals surrounding Meghan and Harry. From allegations of racism to doubts about the royal lineage and finances, King Charles can no longer turn a blind eye. As the head of the royal family, he understands that the family's reputation cannot be further jeopardized. However, the big question remains whether King Charles's action is too severe or truly necessary to protect the integrity of the family and the monarchy. Some may argue that King Charles has been too harsh in handling the situation, as his decision to open an investigation could escalate tensions within the royal family, which has long been known for maintaining a flawless public image. Bringing an official investigation into the spotlight can only deepen the existing rifts, not only making Meghan and Harry feel the strain, but also potentially making it difficult for other family members to resolve the current situation. While King Charles's decision may lead to a public investigation that could diminish the royal family's reputation in the eyes of the public, he cannot ignore the actions of Meghan and Harry, as these scandals not only affect them, but also threaten the stability and reputation of the monarchy. The decision to open an investigation is a bold move, but is it the only way to address a long-standing issue that has increasingly become more serious? King Charles must not only protect his family, but also maintain the image of the entire institution, which requires firm and decisive decisions in such a long-standing family tradition as the British royal family. Allowing scandals and conflicts to unfold in silence is simply unacceptable. Protecting the royal family's reputation is of utmost importance. Any weakening of the family's image can have severe long-term consequences, ranging from losing public support to damaging international relations. As the head of the royal family, King Charles cannot rely on softer measures. The scandals created by Meghan and Harry are not just personal matters, they affect the entire institution. The decision to launch an official investigation could lead to a comprehensive solution to these issues, while also sending a clear message: the royal family will not tolerate actions that harm their unity and reputation. However, the big question remains whether these actions will truly help the royal family regain a positive image, or only deepen the rifts within the family and create new conflicts. This is the question King Charles and other family members must face. In a large and complex family like the royal family, every decision not only affects the members, but can also ripple out, impacting the entire nation and international relations. Protecting the royal family's image in the eyes of the public is crucial, but that doesn't mean sacrificing personal relationships and familial bonds. From Meghan and Harry's perspective, they may feel attacked by a power structure they no longer wish to be a part of. However, their continued resistance and refusal to reflect on their actions only complicate the situation further. They seem to overlook the fact that their opposition, rather than helping to resolve the issues, is only making everything more tense. Continuing to fight with the royal family while personal freedom doesn't provide any practical solutions for either side only deepens the divide. As the head of the family, King Charles must carefully consider decisions like these. Can he change his strategy and adopt softer measures to avoid hurting family members, or will strictness and decisiveness be the only way to protect the royal family's reputation? This is the question he must answer in the current context, where every action and decision could lead to unforeseen ripple effects. The future of Meghan and Harry within the British royal family is a topic that not only captures attention, but also raises questions about the relationship between individuals and the institution. Although the couple stepped down from their official royal roles in 2020, conflicts and controversies continue to simmer. Their actions, from publicly criticizing the family to making claims about race, lineage, and finances, have not only caused divisions within the royal family, but also profoundly affected the way the public perceives them. The investigation initiated by King Charles further clarifies the boundaries between those who have left the royal family and those who remain members of this institution. However, the biggest question remains whether Meghan and Harry will ever return to the royal family in the future or if this relationship has been completely severed. While they have renounced their royal duties, the royal family remains a part of their lives, and they cannot fully disconnect. But this is not an easy prospect, especially as the investigation continues, and Meghan and Harry remain outspoken in their resistance. A crucial factor in reconciliation will be the willingness to change attitudes and behaviors. If Meghan and Harry wish to reintegrate with the royal family, they will need to confront long-standing issues. This will not only require regret and acknowledgement of their mistakes, but also a shift in how they communicate and handle relationships within the family. In reality, they may have to relinquish some of their personal demands in order to reconcile and accept the principles and rules that have existed for centuries within the British royal family. Whether the royal family is willing to accept Meghan and Harry back after everything that has happened in the past is not a simple question, especially after the public criticism and accusations that have caused chaos within the family. The answer cannot be immediate. The royal family is not an institution that is easily changed, and accepting the return of a member after such public controversies cannot happen overnight. The relationship between Meghan, Harry, and the other family members cannot return to what it was before without changes from both sides. Especially now that King Charles has officially announced an investigation to clarify the issues related to Meghan and Harry. With their current position in society, Meghan and Harry have been able to build a significant personal career. From deals with major companies to charitable and media projects, this might make them feel that they no longer need to return to the royal family. However, this raises another question: can they maintain their public image without being linked to the royal family? Although they have built their own public identities, Meghan and Harry are still primarily known to the public because of their connection to the royal family. This could create a conflict for them, as part of them may still long for recognition from the family and institution they left behind. So can Meghan and Harry reconcile with the royal family after everything that has happened? The answer cannot be immediate, but clearly only time and change from both sides can bring them closer together. Whether reconciliation happens or not, one thing is certain: Meghan and Harry will always be part of an important story within the British royal family, whether inside or outside of it. These are questions we are still waiting for answers to, and only time will give us a clearer view. However, one thing is certain: this investigation has opened a new chapter in the lives of the couple and the British royal family. The truth will be revealed, and we all wait to see whether reconciliation is possible or if the rift will only deepen. Thank you for watching today's video. If you have any thoughts or opinions on this topic, don't forget to leave a comment below. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss our upcoming videos. See you in the next one. Perhaps I should be subtle and say it like Bruce Forsyth, a famous British entertainer, who once shared with his show participants, "All of you are my favorites." Saying goodbye to someone who truly cares about you can break your heart. And that's exactly how the royal staff felt when Princess Charlotte left Kensington Palace. They had witnessed her grow up, taking her first steps, and when she waved goodbye, their hearts broke. Many couldn't stop crying. But could there be more behind this goodbye than what the royal family has shown? Join us as we reveal the reasons why Charlotte suddenly disappeared from Kensington Palace and the potential impacts this could have on the royal family. The silence that envelops Kensington Palace seemed like nothing unusual on an ordinary day in London. However, over time, a strange stillness began to take hold of the place. For most people, it was just another peaceful morning, but for those who were more observant, something felt off. Don't forget to leave a comment with a 1 if you empathize with today's story, or a 0 if you have a different opinion. Share your thoughts with us, like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what happens next, where we will reveal all the secrets right now. Princess Charlotte, the youngest member of the royal family, has always been the subject of much attention, and everyone remembers her adorable moments, such as when she made a small mistake at the coronation concert. Now her complete absence is also not something easy to overlook. What makes things even stranger is the silence from the media. There were no announcements, no film crews waiting outside the palace gates, no buzzing conversations on social media, and no signs that anything unusual was happening. The large gates of Kensington remained shut, with no indication that anything strange was going on. But inside the palace, longtime staff members began to sense a change. The silence was overwhelming. No more footsteps, no rustling of books from the tutor, no clinking of dishes at breakfast. The familiar sounds had vanished. The smell of Princess Charlotte's favorite tea, which usually wafted through the hallways every morning, was also gone. The purpose seemed to be to slow things down and speak less. As the silence grew deeper, the anxiety spread. One of the maids, a kind woman who had cared for Charlotte since she was a child, was seen nervously pacing outside the young princess's room. Her eyes were constantly fixed on the window, which had been opened slightly. Though this seemed ordinary, there was something unsettling about it. Occasionally, a light breeze would pass through the curtains, but it wasn't the gentle movement you'd expect from a fan or a maid walking by. Instead, it felt different, as if something more unusual was at play. The window was not just ajar. It was fully opened enough to suggest that someone might have passed through it. The light from outside softly illuminated the room, as if trying to reveal something in the shadows. The view stretched out beyond the palace grounds, where the stillness was replaced by subtle signs of something yet to be uncovered. Doubts lingered, as each small detail seemed to heighten the tension in the air, filled with unspoken implications. There were no alarming sounds, no shouting or collisions, nothing dramatic. But that made it worse. The calmness itself felt unsettling, as if something important had quietly passed by without anyone noticing immediately. There was an invisible weight in the air, as if the walls were holding a secret that had never been spoken. As the day went on, things inside the palace began to change further. Security around the grounds became more active. The royal guard, always on duty but usually blending into the background, was now more noticeable. Dressed in sharp suits and communicating through hidden earpieces, they moved with purpose. Scanning the area and whispering into their sleeves, their presence wasn't overwhelming, but strong enough to make others realize that something serious was happening. No official statement has been shared, and the silence surrounding the situation is overwhelming. Even among themselves, the palace staff has no clear idea of what is actually happening. Whispers are passed from one corridor to another, but nothing has been confirmed or officially acknowledged. A small rumor has begun to spread, suggesting that the Queen has postponed a previously scheduled meeting, which is highly unusual, given her well-known reputation for adhering strictly to her schedule. This unexpected change has sparked suspicion, and the staff already on edge grow increasingly concerned. The lack of clarity only heightens the sense of uncertainty surrounding the palace. Meanwhile, the king continues to act as if nothing is out of the ordinary. He moves forward with his public duties, his face maintaining a calm and collected demeanor, showing no signs of worry or concern. His composure, in stark contrast to the growing unease elsewhere, seems almost unnerving. He is not letting any hints of trouble show, keeping a steady front despite the rumblings behind closed doors. His calm behavior only deepens the mystery, leaving those around him wondering what is truly going on behind the scenes, as the palace remains eerily quiet about the situation. News of Princess Charlotte's mysterious disappearance quickly spread through the city like wildfire. In offices, cafes, and along busy sidewalks, people were talking. Where had she gone, and why did she disappear so quietly? The mystery only deepened as there were no photos showing her leaving, no statements from the palace, and no official updates. The usual royal SUV no longer appeared on its usual routes. Her personal assistant had quietly taken time off. Even the palace dogs, usually curled up by the fireplace, now wandered endlessly around the West Garden as if they sensed the change. Inside the palace, the only place that could hold the answers is Charlotte's room, but no one is allowed to enter. Her bedroom door remains firmly closed with no sound, no sign of anything happening inside. The once familiar items, the things everyone had seen every day, are now gone without a trace. The little stuffed animal that Charlotte always kept on her windowsill, where she often sat and gazed at the outside view, is also missing. An old pair of ballet shoes, once neatly placed next to her wardrobe, where she would often come and go during quiet mornings, has now vanished as well. On her desk, where there used to be open books, papers, and unfinished drawings, a handwritten note from Charlotte herself lies silently still unopened. Although everyone knows it is a personal message, no one dares to read it. Each person feels a sense of loss, as if a part of this life has been taken away with no way to fill the void. That piece of paper, though it is just a lifeless sheet, carries an odd weight, making anyone who looks at it feel the heavy silence in the air. From the outside, everything at Kensington Palace still appears perfect, peaceful, and serene as usual. The tall doors, the solid walls, the quiet corridors. All maintain their steadfast beauty unchanged. But inside it is clear that something is wrong. When a royal figure disappears so quietly without any noise or attention drawn to it, it speaks volumes more than any headline could. People wonder where Princess Charlotte has gone and what led to her sudden disappearance. The questions keep piling up, and the silence of the palace only increases the public's confusion and curiosity, leaving everyone unable to stop worrying about the fate of the young princess. Before we explore the potential truths behind Princess Charlotte's disappearance, it is important to take a moment to reflect on how she grew up and just how special and intelligent she truly was. The story of Princess Charlotte, the next generation of royalty, begins with a historic moment that made headlines around the world. Born on May 2, 2015, she immediately became a part of royal history. Though she was just a newborn, this event captured the attention of the public and the global media as she was officially welcomed into the royal family. When Prince William and Catherine proudly introduced their second child, they didn't just present another royal baby, but a little girl who would go on to create a significant shift in centuries-old royal traditions. For the first time in history, a royal daughter would maintain her place in the line of succession even after the birth of her younger brother. This broke a centuries-old rule, one that had previously only favored royal sons, and from that moment, Charlotte became a new special symbol within the royal family. The fact that she retained her position in the line of succession despite the arrival of a younger brother marked Charlotte as someone truly exceptional from the very beginning of her life. This was a pivotal change, not only in the succession system, but also in how the role of royal daughters is viewed in modern society. Princess Charlotte was not just a child. She represented a significant shift in the royal family, symbolizing both a rich tradition and a new era of change. Now, at just 10 years old, Princess Charlotte has already become a prominent figure within the royal family. She carries an exceptional confidence that far exceeds her age. it is clear that Charlotte understands the importance of the royal position she holds and carries this responsibility with surprising ease. While most children her age shy away from cameras and the attention of crowds, Charlotte faces them head-on calmly with a steadfast smile that when you look at it, you can sense her strong confidence. She shows no signs of fear or worry, and all of this is clearly demonstrated in the moments she shares with other royal family members. A recent moment with Queen Camilla further highlighted this quality in Charlotte. The young princess showed no anxiety at all, standing tall and handling the situation as if she had been doing it her entire life. In front of the public and the media, Charlotte remained calm, showing a remarkable composure under pressure that even adult members of the royal family sometimes struggle to achieve. Charlotte's calmness and ability to handle situations with such poise demonstrate that she is not only a smart and graceful princess, but also a promising royal heir ready to take on the responsibilities of the future. Another deeply touching example occurred during the funeral of her great-grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II. During this solemn ceremony, Charlotte wore black and pinned a small horseshoe brooch, a quiet yet powerful tribute to the Queen's lifelong love for horses. As she walked, Charlotte displayed a sense of solemnity with her emotions tightly controlled, showing deep respect for this historic moment. When her older brother, Prince George, began to cry, Charlotte was immediately by his side, gently comforting him with soft words. She not only reassured him, but also guided him on how to bow respectfully before the Queen's coffin, demonstrating a deep sense of respect and empathy. This moment was not only a remarkable display of maturity for such a young child, but it also highlighted Charlotte's love, care, and responsibility, showing that even at her young age, she understands the weight of her royal duties. It was a moment that moved millions of people around the world. Charlotte displayed an incredible combination of strength, respect, and responsibility qualities far beyond her age. In that brief moment, she showed a level of maturity and composure that even many adults would struggle to achieve in such a solemn setting. Moments like these, full of grace and dignity, did not go unnoticed and captured the attention of people globally. Observers couldn't help but compare Charlotte to her great-grandmother, Princess Diana. Both share an amazing ability to blend gentleness with quiet strength, as well as kindness, combined with unwavering determination. It's clear that Charlotte possesses the same qualities that made Princess Diana such a beloved figure. Charlotte may still be a child, but it's clear that she is truly remarkable. Like her late grandmother, Diana, Princess Charlotte seems to possess a beautiful blend of confidence and kindness. There's something calm and steady about the way she carries herself. Whether gently guiding her younger brother or handling public moments with grace each time she stands before others, it becomes more and more evident that she is growing up naturally. Becoming a young leader, one with both a gentle heart and a steady presence. Her parents, Catherine and William, have always tried to raise their children in the most normal way possible, doing everything they can to protect them from the pressures of their royal roles. But even with this quiet upbringing, Charlotte's confidence has begun to shine more and more. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by the constant scrutiny of the world, she seems to handle everything with a calm strength that even those closest to her find surprising. Those around her have also noticed this maturity. Family friends often comment on how she's more mature than her age, quickly adapting with intelligence to new situations, and always maintaining herself with quiet strength. Prince William has even joked calling her the boss of the house because she always takes the lead among her siblings. Even Queen Elizabeth, in a personal observation, noticed Charlotte's energetic personality and remarked that among all the children, she is often the one who takes control when it's needed most. From the moment of her birth, Princess Charlotte became a headline and a part of history. She became the first royal girl to retain her position in the line of succession, even after the birth of her younger brother. That simple fact became a symbol of progress in the royal family, signaling a shift towards gender equality. However, Charlotte's charm doesn't just stem from her place in the royal hierarchy. What makes people love her are the small, warm moments. The way she waves at the crowd with maturity, her mischievous smile, or how she helps Prince Louis sit properly at events, these glimpses into her true nature have made the whole world smile. There's something refreshingly unique about how Charlotte handles attention. While some royal children in the past have struggled under the public gaze, Charlotte seems comfortable, even joyful. She is confident in public, but still manages to let her true personality shine through. Whether in family photos or casual moments during royal outings, she never hides her true self. Her warmth and honesty have made her easy to love, and many say this is what sets her apart. She's elegant to the core and full of light, a rare combination that has made her beloved by royal fans and the public alike. Princess Charlotte's life has never been just about waving at the crowd or attending royal events. Her parents, Prince William and Princess Catherine, have deliberately raised her in a balanced way, respecting her royal duties while protecting her happiness as a growing child. They've worked hard to create a life for her that's not just about cameras and expectations, but one where she feels free, loved, and understood. They've made sure she knows her place in the royal family, but have never let that take away the simple joys of being a child. Every public step Charlotte takes is carefully planned with thoughtful consideration. Her safety and well-being are always the top priority. So when it was announced that she would no longer be living at Kensington Palace, the news felt like more than just a change of address. It was personal. For many, it symbolized a shift. Charlotte was stepping into a new chapter 1 that showed she was not just another royal child, but a representative of a new face of tradition, blending royalty with authenticity and real emotions. This move was not only practical, but also deeply meaningful. It was intended to give her space to breathe away from the flashing lights and constant headlines, an opportunity to explore more about life and herself in a quieter space. Even as she becomes more famous, Princess Charlotte's appeal lies in her ability to remain calm. The cameras may follow her, the headlines may mention her name, and people may track her every move, but deep down she is still just a little girl. She smiles with ease, rolls down grassy hills without worrying about the world, climbs trees with wide-eyed excitement, and shares moments full of laughter with her brothers. Despite the pressure of her title, she has maintained her innocence. What's even more touching is how naturally she embraces her role as an older sister. Whether she's accompanying Prince George at official events or helping little Louis continue with his daily mischief, Charlotte does it with a caring heart and a gentle touch. She not only acts as a sister, but lives it fully. She's cheerful, full of life, and always ready to take on responsibilities when needed, while still making her brothers feel safe and supported. This relationship goes far beyond just being royal siblings. It is built on trust, closeness, and true love. They grew up relying on each other, finding joy in the little things, and standing by each other in both public and private moments. And it is this closeness, this natural unity between them that makes them special. Not just as young royal members, but as a real family truly bonded. Whenever Princess Charlotte appears in public, She brings a sense of calm that seems to surpass her age. She naturally soothes the atmosphere around her. Whether she gently encourages Prince Louis to wave at the crowd or quietly helps Prince George feel at ease in front of the camera, her influence is both subtle and strong. She doesn't force anything. It's simply who she is. Although she is just a child, she understands royal customs better than many adults. But what truly makes her special is that she still finds joy in the little moments. She smiles with genuine warmth, and her actions seem effortless, never rehearsed. But her world is very different from most children. While others play freely without judgment, Charlotte lives under the spotlight. Every blink, every giggle, every step she takes is captured by the cameras and analyzed by the public. That's why her quiet departure from Kensington Palace feels like more than just moving to a new home. It is deeply personal. It means giving her space where she can simply be a child, where she can learn, grow, and breathe without the constant noise of public attention. That decision has given her a bit of freedom, something she truly needed. The grace behind Charlotte's presence in that moment also marked the beginning of what many now refer to as the Princess Charlotte effect. From the very first time she walked beside her mother in front of the flashing cameras, she captured the world's attention. And somehow, without even trying, she became a trendsetter. At just 10 years old, experts say she has influenced a multi-billion-dollar economy. However, her true power doesn't lie in what she wears, but in who she is. She doesn't chase attention, yet it seems to follow her wherever she goes. What draws people to her isn't just her style, but the way she carries herself with grace and confidence. Her charm is encapsulated in her sincerity. Her calm presence and mature handling of attention often remind people of someone very close to the royal family, her grandmother, Princess Diana. Many say Charlotte carries the same gentle elegance and quiet strength. Some even believe she reflects Queen Elizabeth II in the way she leads with quiet confidence. Like them, Charlotte seems to naturally understand the weight of her role, but she doesn't see it as a burden. It's something she steps into with comfort and silent confidence, as though she was born to lead with a kind heart. Every time Princess Charlotte steps out for royal events, whether she's politely bowing to senior royals, waving to the crowd, or walking alongside her parents during official visits, she carries with her a quiet strength and a level of confidence that is truly rare for someone her age. One touching moment that made many smile occurred during the Commonwealth Day service. As they entered the chapel, Charlotte gently placed her hand on Prince Louis's back. It was a simple gesture, but it spoke louder than words. It showed how naturally she cares for others and how she leads with gentleness. These traits are clearly formed under her mother's guidance, and Charlotte's combination of grace and boldness makes her truly stand out. She understands the weight of her family name, but carries it with calmness and poise. While Prince George often attracts public attention, as the future king, Charlotte has carved out her own unique place in the royal family. People admire her not only for her role, but also for who she is. Many compare her spirit to that of Princess Diana. Charlotte is charming, yet strong, thoughtful, yet determined, seemingly embodying the same magical balance in how she treats others with the calm demeanor she carries. There is something familiar about her, something comforting. She makes people feel connected just as Diana once did. Charlotte's strong presence within the family didn't appear overnight. It is the result of many years of love and careful nurturing by Catherine and William. They have always aimed to raise their children in a balanced way, allowing them to enjoy the simple joys of childhood while gradually preparing them for the life they are expected to lead. And clearly it's working. Charlotte is growing into a confident, caring young girl, fully aware of the world around her. Share your thoughts on Charlotte's growth and how Catherine and William are raising the next generation of the royal family. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more exciting videos and the latest news about the royal family. When the family left their home at Kensington Palace and moved to Windsor, it wasn't just about changing houses. It marked something deeper, a purposeful step towards giving Charlotte a quieter, less scrutinized life. Being a royal child means growing up with cameras tracking your every move. But Windsor promised a quieter life, where she could laugh freely, make mistakes, and simply be a child. Even with the move, her charm has not faded. In fact, her nickname, Mini Queen, has begun to mean more than just her physical resemblance to Queen Elizabeth II. It now reflects the admiration she receives and the grace she is known for. Charlotte's strength doesn't shout, it whispers. It's in the way she stands beside her family and how she's growing with a blend of old traditions and new authenticity. She is carving out her own path, one filled with kindness, dignity, and a touch of modern charm. Her relationship with Prince William has added another layer of beauty to her story. From the moment she was born, his joy was evident on his face as he held her in his arms. He wasn't just welcoming another royal member, he was welcoming a daughter he would cherish deeply. Over the years, that love has only grown stronger. Their relationship is not just confined to royal duties, but is filled with truly heartfelt moments. They laugh together, share private jokes, and sometimes communicate with just a glance. One particularly sweet detail is the special name William calls her Manette. It's a French word meaning small, sweet, and precious. It perfectly captures their bond. Their relationship reminds everyone that behind the royal titles and the sparkle of the crown, there are parents who deeply love their children. In Princess Charlotte's life, the warmth and love from her father have played a significant role in shaping the thoughtful and graceful young girl she is becoming. Over the years, Charlotte's personality has grown brighter, and with that, her bond with Prince William has only strengthened. William has always been close and attentive, showing unconditional love for his daughter. Charlotte's cheerful spirit, confidence, and natural charm have made her stand out in the royal family in a way that is entirely her own. Every time she appears in public, Charlotte leaves a lasting impression with her grace and strong sense of self-assurance. William is clearly very proud of her. He not only supports her interests and passions, but also celebrates the things that make Charlotte unique. He understands that these qualities not only make her special, but also reflect the values and spirit of the royal family. The closeness, love, and support William offers Charlotte have helped her grow stronger and more confident in her role within the royal family. One of the things that has brought William and Charlotte even closer is Charlotte's love for dancing, a passion that runs deeply through the royal family. Her love for dance is not only a personal expression, but also a special connection, because it links her to someone very important to William, his late mother, Princess Diana. Princess Diana was famously known for her deep love of dance, and now Charlotte, William's young daughter, has embraced that same passion. Seeing his daughter develop and share an interest that his mother once cherished brings William a true sense of warmth and closeness. For William, it's not just the joy of seeing his daughter enjoy something his mother loved, but also a stronger bond between the past and the present. Charlotte's continued love for dance, which honors and extends Princess Diana's legacy, creates a beautiful connection, a bridge between generations. This moment is special both as a tribute to the past and as a reflection of the present, allowing William to feel deeply connected to both his mother and his beloved daughter. Their relationship also grows through their shared love for art and sports. Whether it's enjoying a ballet performance at the Royal Opera House, listening to music at a concert, or spending time playing games outside together, Charlotte and William have created countless special memories. And while royal life often comes with immense attention and pressure, William ensures that Charlotte feels protected. He helps her stay calm, making sure that the public's attention never overshadows her joy. A particularly sweet moment that touched many hearts occurred during King Charles's first procession. As they stood together, Charlotte quietly held her father's hand. It was a simple act, but it showed just how close they truly are. That small gesture demonstrated comfort, and the silent love they share. Even royal experts like Jenny Bond have noticed their special connection. She has spoken about the warmth and pride William shows whenever he is near Charlotte, something that is hard to miss. Although they are constantly seen by the public, their relationship goes beyond appearances. It is a deep, genuine bond built on love and true care for each other. Leaving Kensington Palace, where Charlotte spent her early years, was not an easy task. That home holds her childhood memories from the nursery, where she took her first steps to the rooms filled with laughter and play. The staff, who had watched her grow from a child into a bright young girl, were deeply moved when the family said their goodbyes. The car leaving was not just a sign of relocation. It marked the end of a special chapter. However, for Charlotte and her family, moving to Adelaide Cottage offered the opportunity for something new. Something more peaceful. Part of the reason they chose to settle in Windsor also stemmed from William's desire to be closer to Queen Elizabeth II in her later years. With the Queen spending more time at Windsor Castle, living nearby gave them the opportunity to enjoy quiet, private moments, simple walks through the garden, casual visits, and meaningful conversations. This allowed Charlotte and her siblings to be closer to their great-grandmother, not just as a monarch, but as a beloved family member. Moving wasn't just about leaving a familiar place. It was also about building stronger family bonds and creating new, lasting memories in a quieter, more loving environment. Settling in Windsor brought a gentle change to Princess Charlotte's life. Away from the constant demands of royal duties and the grand palace, her world began to slow down in the best way. The new home is humbler with fewer staff around and fewer formal rules. This change brought something more valuable time spent together as a family and more opportunities for Charlotte to simply be a child. She quickly embraced this quieter life, finding happiness in daily joys like cycling through garden paths, playing tag with her siblings under the sun, curling up with storybooks beside her parents, and sitting quietly under the trees, lost in thought. Life in Windsor has given her space to breathe, an opportunity to explore her own rhythm surrounded by peace and love. Along with this new chapter, Charlotte's educational path has also undergone changes. Her education has always been carefully planned to help her grow into a kind and well-rounded person. When she first started at Willock's kindergarten, she was introduced to music, letters, and the joy of learning. Later at Thomas's Battery, her confidence blossomed. Teachers not only noticed how intelligent she was, but also how curious and gentle she was. She was the one who asked deep questions and was always kind to those around her. Currently attending Lamrook School, Charlotte continues to develop both academically and personally. The school focuses not only on lessons but also on shaping good character, and Charlotte is thriving. Classmates and teachers describe her as polite, sharp, and full of warmth. She is the type of person who doesn't need to shout to be heard. Her leadership abilities shine through her quiet actions, her calm nature, her ability to listen, and her thoughtful demeanor. Though only 10 years old, she has learned how to stay calm and think clearly no matter what is happening around her. Her parents have played a significant role in helping her develop this quiet strength. What makes Charlotte's journey special is that her maturity is not measured by flashy moments. It is found in the small things, a small smile when helping a friend answer a question in class, quietly reaching out to hold her sibling's hands while walking. These small actions show that she is becoming a strong, graceful young girl with a heart full of purpose. She may not always appear in public, but those close to her know that she carries a deep inner strength and self-awareness. Moving to Windsor has allowed Charlotte the freedom to explore herself without the constant noise of the outside world. It has given her a place to breathe, dream, and create. Away from the crowded life at Kensington Palace, she has found space to grow in her own natural and beautiful way. Now in a different place, part of the royal family, another drama is quickly unfolding. Stay tuned to learn what's going on. Camilla is in conflict with Princess Anne. Princess Anne, famous for always putting the royal family above her personal feelings, has finally reached the point where she can no longer remain silent. For years, she was one of the most loyal and disciplined members of the monarchy, always choosing duty over drama. But this time, things have gone too far. The tension between her and Queen Camilla has quietly developed behind the palace walls for months. First, there were whispers, then raised voices, conversations that no one could ignore. Now, the cracks have become evident. This relationship is a cornerstone of royal discipline, but the drama doesn't stop there. The next morning, the world woke up to news that no one could have predicted. Buckingham Palace issued an official statement that changed everything. Queen Camilla was stripped of her title. This announcement immediately caused chaos on social media and among the public. How could someone who had spent years carefully climbing her way into royal life lose everything overnight? What could have driven the royal family to make such a monumental decision? To understand how it all unfolded, many people began looking back at the small moments that now held deeper meaning. One of those moments occurred at a formal royal event attended by Princess Kate. As the future Queen Catherine holds an important position next to Prince William, who will one day become king. At the event, Kate did something surprising. She did not bow to Camilla. It seemed like a small gesture that could easily be overlooked. But in the royal family, gestures like this hold much more meaning. A bow is not just a sign of politeness. It's a sign of respect and shows who holds seniority within the family. By skipping the bow, Kate made a quiet but bold statement. It was subtle, yet powerful. Some royal observers believe it was her way of showing her discomfort with Camilla's growing role. Others think it was a sign that change is coming and Kate and William are leading the charge together. In hindsight, this moment carries much more weight than anyone realized at the time. It wasn't just about breaking tradition. It was a signal and a shift, a sign that the future of the monarchy could look very different from what people have seen before. Everything from Anne's public stance to Kate's silent gesture tells a story of power shift underlying tension and a royal family redefining itself in real time. And in the end, what once seemed impossible became reality. The royal family made a decision that will reshape its future step by step. While Princess Anne's public confrontation with Camilla shocked many, those who were paying attention could see that the cracks had been forming for quite some time. It wasn't just a sudden disagreement. It was the eruption of tension that had been quietly building over months, even years. And now the world wonders whether this is just a temporary disruption or if the royal family is facing something even more serious beneath the surface. Camilla's journey from Duchess to Queen Consort was carefully mapped out by Queen Elizabeth II herself. Before she passed, the Queen publicly stated that Camilla would carry the title alongside Charles, a move that surprised some but was meant to bring balance and maintain stability within the monarchy. However, after King Charles officially ascended the throne, things began to change. Camilla's role was no longer just ceremonial. She seemed to be stepping into a space with real influence, helping to organize royal duties, shaping events, and making choices that some in the palace found uncomfortable. Anne had quietly observed this change, and eventually she spoke out. Her words not only brought attention to what Camilla had become, but also forced the palace to react in a way no one expected. It was more than just a disagreement. It became a test of traditional loyalty and leadership. Anne is said to have refused to accept Camilla as Queen Consort, arguing that while the title of Queen Consort was acceptable, Camilla could never truly live up to the legacy of Queen Elizabeth. The monarchy, rooted in history and order, could not allow such a public and emotional confrontation between senior members. So, in a swift and unexpected move, Camilla was stripped of her title. The news of her dismissal shocked the world. All major media outlets reported it. Headlines were filled with theories and speculation. People were divided. Some praised Anne for defending royal values and protecting the crown from backstage manipulation. Others believed the punishment was too harsh considering the many years Camilla had supported and remained loyal to Charles during his most difficult times. However, regardless of which side people were on, everyone agreed on one thing: the monarchy had changed overnight. This highlights the extent to which things have changed. Camilla invited many of her own family members and gave them prominent roles. Meanwhile, Kate's family, the Middletons, was almost completely excluded from the picture. For Kate, her parents and siblings have always been her source of strength since she entered royal life. This wasn't just a forgotten detail, it was personal and intentional. Her family had supported her through the toughest and most public stages of becoming a royal, and seeing them sidelined sent a message that was hard to ignore. It wasn't about event planning, but about power influence and quiet control. By sidelining the Middletons, Camilla not only weakened Kate's emotional foundation, but also revealed just how deeply the power struggle within the royal family had been unfolding. And although Kate didn't respond loudly or dramatically, her quiet response spoke volumes. Without saying a word, she allowed silence to become her message. In a family where every action is watched and every gesture has meaning, the smallest choices can have the biggest impact. In this case, they revealed a royal family not only facing a difficult time, but perhaps standing on the brink of a complete change. At a royal event afterward, where tradition expected Princess Kate to show respect to Queen Camilla by bowing, something unexpected happened. She did not do so. While most people in the crowd may not have noticed anything unusual, those who had been hurt or sidelined during the coronation certainly did. No one, including Kate, performed the respectful gesture toward Camilla. In the royal world, where every movement carries meaning, this was not an accident. It was intentional. A bow is not just a polite gesture. It is a way of acknowledging someone's rank and role. So when Kate chose not to bow or kneel, she wasn't just breaking tradition. She was sending a strong, silent message, refusing to acknowledge Camilla's growing position in the royal hierarchy. What might have once been quiet tension has now exploded into full view, revealing a deeper power struggle within the royal family. Camilla had spent years trying to establish herself within the royal fold. She carefully and slowly worked to win public support and secure her position as queen consort. But as her influence grew, so did the unease among senior royals, especially Kate, who had long been cautious about the level of influence Camilla was beginning to wield. Behind the palace walls, it wasn't just Kate raising an eyebrow. Even Prince William, who is typically known for being calm and keeping his opinions to himself, became concerned. Although he rarely speaks publicly about family tensions, William is believed to have his own frustrations about Camilla increasingly controlling important decisions. These emotions seemed to peak during King Charles's coronation, when some realized that Camilla was no longer playing a supporting role. She had taken charge in a way that made even the most loyal members of the family uncomfortable. And then the turning point came. Another key member of the royal family decided to intervene. Princess Anne, the king's only sister. Known for her straightforwardness and deep dedication to the crown, Anne had never been one to play political games. She values duty, loyalty, and fairness, and she is not afraid to speak up when something feels wrong. So when she saw how far Camilla's influence had grown, Anne knew it was time to act. Anne is believed to have refused to accept Camilla as queen consort because she felt that while the title of consort queen might be acceptable, Camilla could never truly live up to the legacy left by Queen Elizabeth. For Anne, the monarchy is built on history, tradition, and a sense of order that cannot allow for public confrontations or emotional conflicts between senior family members. The royal family, she believes, should maintain its dignity and stability. The idea of Camilla ascending to the title of queen consort was a deeply divisive issue, as it was believed that her presence in such a position could never match the lasting legacy of Queen Elizabeth, who had been a symbol of grace, leadership, and respect for decades. In response to this situation, and after much speculation and discussion behind closed doors, the royal family made a swift and unexpected decision. Camilla was stripped of her title, which immediately caused an international stir. The news was met with shock and disbelief, as it was an unprecedented move within the royal family. Major media outlets across the world jumped on the story with headlines filled with theories, rumors, and speculation about the reasons behind the decision. The shockwaves from the announcement were felt globally, as this was not just an internal family matter, it was a public spectacle that unfolded before the eyes of millions. Public opinion became sharply divided in the aftermath of this dramatic decision. Some praised Anne for standing up to protect the royal values and defending the crown from what they perceived as manipulation behind the scenes. These individuals believed Anne had taken a stand for the preservation of royal tradition and integrity. On the other hand, many others felt that the punishment was too harsh, especially given the years of unwavering support that Camilla had provided to Charles, particularly during some of the most challenging times in his life. Her loyalty and commitment to him were undeniable, and many felt that these sacrifices should have been acknowledged and honored rather than punished. This division further fueled public debate over the future of the royal family and its internal dynamics. So what do you think about this shocking decision? Was Anne right to protect royal values and safeguard the crown from behind-the-scenes manipulation? Or was the punishment too harsh for Camilla, considering her loyalty and dedication to Charles throughout his most challenging years? Don't forget to leave a comment with a 1 if you sympathize with Camilla, or a 0 if you have a different opinion. Share your thoughts with us. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Click on the next video that appears on your screen for more amazing content. See you in the next video. Breaking news. The royal family has just made a massive announcement that's sending shockwaves around the globe. In a move that no one saw coming, they've revealed some major news about Camilla, and it's definitely not what you expected. Stay tuned as we dive deep into this royal bombshell and what it means for the future of the monarchy. Before we dive into the video, I have an interesting question for you. Do any of your friends follow the royal family? If so, drop a 1, if not comment, a 0. Enjoy the video, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to support the channel. Sitting in the Poet's Corner, where the memorial stands for hundreds of great writers, it's hard to imagine that this event would become a turning point. The royal scene at Kensington Palace, with the gentle summer breeze blowing through, seemed like just another ordinary charity event. Journalists and guests were ready for a familiar show: Princess Charlotte's radiant smile, Prince George's wave, and the dazzling photos that would dominate the headlines. However, what happened before the cameras was far from ordinary. Prince William, tall and strong, stepped forward before the crowd, not only with his usual speech, but with a look full of determination. Princess Catherine stood beside him, gentle and composed, her hand lightly placed on Charlotte's back. Prince George stood there, his gaze mature beyond his years. And then, in front of the nation and the world, Prince William made a declaration that would completely change the future of the royal family. We will step into a new chapter where the past is honored and the future is built with confidence, Prince William declared. As he recalled Queen Elizabeth II, her vision and hopes for the future of the royal family, tears were impossible to hide. But then it was his next words that left the audience stunned. "My family will play a larger role in the future as Her Majesty wished. My daughter, Princess Charlotte, will begin her official duties as a representative of the crown." The audience gasped. Journalists quickly raised their phones, and palace officials were left stunned. This was no ordinary announcement. It was a pivotal moment. Princess Charlotte, too young to be called a queen, yet stepped forward with an astonishing calmness. Behind her stood unwavering support from her parents, proving that they were not only leaders, but also ready to pass on the mantle of power in the future. There was no blessing from King Charles III, no participation from Queen Camilla. Only silence, a silence that spoke volumes. In that moment, the whole world realized that something had shifted in the power structure of the royal family. Behind the scenes, rumors about the weakening of the old guard had quietly spread over many months, even years. Subtle changes in social protocol and shifts in public attitudes began to reveal a clear reality. The monarchy was no longer driven solely by admiration for the youth and mystique of Queen Elizabeth II, but by the transformation brought about by new figures. Although King Charles had only recently ascended the throne, the atmosphere surrounding him seemed to age the moment the crown was placed upon his head. Meanwhile, William and Catherine were rising strongly, not only earning the public's affection, but also garnering impressive statistics, with polls recognizing them as the most trusted and admired members of the royal family. This couple not only captivated crowds during their engagements, but also drew attention from around the world. With every public appearance, William and Catherine not only made the people feel they were suited for leadership roles, but also radiated a fresh and modern aura for the monarchy. Standing firm in their commitment to royal duties, they had begun to let go of outdated traditions. Yet something more subtle was unfolding behind the palace doors. Sources from royal advisors began leaking information vague enough to deny but specific enough to attract attention. It is reported that William has been involved in secret negotiations with senior officials from the Commonwealth. Unverified sources claim that Catherine has taken on unofficial advisory roles typically reserved for senior members of the royal family. There are even reports suggesting that Princess Charlotte participated in media preparation meetings at a very early age, even before Prince George reached the same age. Some have dismissed these reports, but within palace circles, these moves are being closely monitored, especially by Camilla, who has been keen to maintain her position within the royal family. There have also been rumors surrounding the final letter Queen Elizabeth II wrote before her passing. According to these rumors, the Queen wrote a series of private letters to King Charles, Prince William, and even Catherine. While the contents of the letters remain undisclosed, one thing is clear after the Queen's passing: William and Catherine began to act more decisively, confidently, and strategically, far more so than Charles and Camilla. On one occasion, William was accused of refusing to attend an important meeting organized by Charles, choosing instead to visit a children's cancer unit in Manchester. William's visit attracted more media attention than the King's event in London that day, marking a silent rebellion. This was not an act of treason, but it stirred tension over the line of succession. While Prince George still remains next in line after William, Princess Charlotte's rising prominence is gradually shifting everything. Princess Charlotte's growing prominence at public events has led many to praise her leadership abilities, much like her aunt, Princess Diana. Some have even questioned whether the line of succession could shift, granting Charlotte greater power than originally planned. However, these are merely speculations and rumors from the media with no official confirmation from the royal family. With increasingly decisive actions, the announcement of a major statement from William instead of King Charles made it clear to the public the future of the monarchy has arrived. The king, while still the head of state, is slowly fading into the background, and William and Catherine have stepped confidently to the forefront. The king's absence from a key event led the public to question his health and ability to lead in his role. In the weeks leading up to this historic event, palace sources reported that King Charles became more reclusive, canceling public appearances, allegedly due to exhaustion. A quiet crisis unfolded within the royal family, as plans and strategies were being quietly and forcefully reshaped behind the scenes. King Charles, who had always been meticulous and obsessed with his schedule, began to experience instability as his official duties started to decline. Initially, royal aides dismissed concerns about the king's condition, with one senior official even stating that the king was simply taking a break after a stressful first year. However, insiders believed the reality was different. Charles was not only struggling with his health, but also with a sense of failure regarding his role within the royal family. Although King Charles had waited decades for his time to reign, he found himself living in the shadow of his son, Prince William. Everywhere William and Catherine appeared, they were met with warm welcomes and admiration, a stark contrast to Charles, who often came across as stiff and cold, especially when accompanied by Camilla, whose presence still sparked controversy within the royal family. These tensions were growing, especially as the king seemed to disagree with senior advisors on how to handle the shift in William's public image. There were rumors that Charles had tried to reassert his power through a major trip to the Commonwealth or a high-level international conference, but all these plans fell through. These proposals faced political and practical obstacles. Subsequently, information began to leak from the palace that Charles was considering abdication, not a public resignation, but rather delegating more and more duties to William as part of a restructuring of the monarchy. According to some sources, this process began in the final months of Queen Elizabeth's life, when she urged Charles to prepare for a smooth power transition to William in the years to come. However, Camilla was opposed to any shift in power that did not center around her and Charles. Both had faced numerous scandals and challenges before claiming the throne, and Camilla had waited her entire life to become queen. She was unwilling to relinquish power to William and Catherine. The public actions of William and Catherine made her feel that this posed a direct threat to the royal power structure and was an affront. However, Camilla's opposition could not halt the changes that were unfolding. Charles seemed unable to resist the changes unfolding around him. He chose to retreat from the public eye, leaving a void quickly filled by William's confidence and decisiveness. The royal family, once known for its unity, now revealed clear divisions. Major events such as the Queen's concert, where William, Catherine, and their children took center stage, made it evident that power had shifted in a new direction. In a historic moment, as the afternoon light illuminated Kensington Palace Gardens, everyone was expecting a standard speech from Prince William, with the gentle appearance of Catherine and their children. However, what happened next was unforgettable. Prince William, with his calm demeanor and confidence, stepped up to the podium. There were no empty words or carefully prepared gestures. Instead, William began by praising his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II. He described her legacy, her unwavering dedication to duty, and her silence. This was a clear statement about the transfer of power and change within the royal family. Wow, what a historic moment, right? Everyone, Prince William not only surprised us, but also inspired with his meaningful speech about Queen Elizabeth II. What do you think about this speech and the power shift in the royal family? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. In a shocking moment, Prince William changed his perspective on the future of the monarchy. In front of millions of reporters and royal analysts, he declared, "Our voice will certainly begin something new, not abandoning tradition, but evolving it. The crown is not a relic, but a living promise of how to serve, and that promise belongs to the future." It was a powerful statement marking a turning point for the royal family. Immediately after, William turned to his daughter, Princess Charlotte, who had always carried herself with royal poise, even at such a young age. In a surprising move, he gently guided Charlotte forward. Princess Charlotte will undertake her first official duties in the coming months. She will begin attending engagements with her mother, learning the meaning of service, and ultimately helping to shape a new vision for our family in this country. William declared, leaving the audience stunned. The public's reaction was immediate and filled with surprise, not only because this was an iconic moment, but also due to its strategic nature. The moment delivered a clear message. Princess Charlotte would not become a passive royal relic. She was being groomed to take on significant responsibilities with the potential to rival her brother George. Photos from the event quickly spread, showing Charlotte standing proudly behind her father, wearing a modest smile, and instantly winning the public's affection, especially on social media. It was not only about Charlotte, but also about William's vision of elevating his daughter's position in the public eye. He not only honored her potential, but also broke the royal power boundaries that had long been dominated by men. Previous generations would have kept Charlotte in the background, but William brought her to the forefront. Catherine, standing beside him, embodied grace and restraint, gently placing her hand on George's shoulder, conveying the message that this family was moving forward together. As the public cheered and editorials praised the royal family's modern approach, the applause was overwhelming. However, within the palace, nothing was peaceful. A simmering fury behind the royal doors began to surface. While the world celebrated Charlotte, one woman in the royal family saw only darkness: Camilla. As soon as Princess Charlotte's name was mentioned, Camilla was reportedly furious. According to palace sources, she believed William's statement was intended to undermine her legacy and that of King Charles. "She's just a child. This is madness." Camilla is said to have shouted when hearing about Charlotte's rise. Not only that she felt Charlotte's growing prominence was a challenge to her influence within the royal family. For decades, Camilla fought to transform from a figure of scorn into the queen consort. She overcame public hostility, media disdain, and even the lingering memories of past scandals. However, as Charlotte gained public attention, Camilla felt her power was being threatened, and that was not easy for her to accept. Princess Diana, though no longer directly involved, still cast a long shadow over every decision in the royal family. She believed she had cemented her place in history, and now with just one speech, William and Catherine had completely changed the script. Camilla immediately called for an urgent meeting with senior palace advisors. Some stories suggest that she confronted Charles, demanding that he issue a statement to restore order and reaffirm the royal hierarchy. However, Charles reportedly refused, citing exhaustion. He merely muttered, "Let it unfold. It has already begun." Camilla now felt isolated. Her relationship with Princess Anne, the staunch defender of royal traditions, had changed. Anne, who disliked media spectacle and wasn't a fan of public power, viewed William's statements as reckless and disrespectful to their father. However, for the first time in years, both Camilla and Anne found common ground, not out of friendship, but due to shared resistance. They sought to rally support from senior palace officials, arguing that William's declaration could destabilize the monarchy's public image. However, the situation had shifted. Staff members who had once been loyal to Charles and Camilla now began to support William and Catherine. Foreign ambassadors, particularly those connected to Charlotte's son, reached out to Kensington, not Clarence House. Even major media outlets started to adjust their tone when referencing William's family, viewing them as the evolving face of the modern monarchy. Meanwhile, Camilla's fury only grew. A royal insider recalled how she would sneak around the palace late at night, slamming doors and making demands that were ignored. Anne, calmer and more measured, distanced herself from the situation and returned to her countryside home. But the reality remained: the public had chosen a new royal family: William, Catherine, Charlotte, and George. While the media focused on the rise of Princess Charlotte and William's statement, few recognized the calm, strategic power behind the scenes of Catherine, Princess of Wales. While everyone praised her natural poise in public, her serene smile and grace, few knew that Catherine had spent years analyzing and understanding the fractures within the palace. She had studied the rhythm of the royal family, playing a long-term game with unparalleled skill. Now, her strategy was proving to be brilliant. Catherine was not just a wife or a mother. She had become the true architect of the monarchy's future. While Camilla struggled to gain public acceptance, Catherine had earned genuine love. It was a type of love that couldn't be manufactured or orchestrated. It was made through real moments from the heart. Each visit to a children's hospital, every laugh with a worried child, and every moment shared with her own children radiated sincerity. And it was this authenticity that made all the difference. Catherine had become her strongest weapon, managing the storm within the palace, following William's announcement. In the days that followed, Camilla relentlessly applied pressure, but Catherine remained silent. When Princess Anne questioned her, Catherine refused to comment, her restraint becoming a more powerful response than any words. However, behind closed doors, Catherine never stopped thinking. She met with William every night to discuss public reactions, the media, and the next steps. Charles's loyal advisors began to visit William and Catherine's camp, taken aback by the clarity of their vision. Some believed that Catherine had secretly commissioned public polls months earlier to gauge the response to Charlotte taking a more prominent role. The results revealed overwhelming public support for the new monarchy's legacy and vision. This was not personal ambition, but a strategy focused on a long-term legacy. Catherine realized that the monarchy could not survive simply by preserving the past. It needed to evolve to remain vibrant. In Charlotte, she saw not just a daughter, but a symbol of everything the crown needed to become modern compassion, the leadership spirit of Diana, the intellect of Elizabeth, and the calm fire of Catherine herself. Catherine's strength did not come from inheritance, but from the way she had built and proven her capabilities. Catherine is not just seeking glory or control, she is seeking stability and continuity for the monarchy that her children will be proud to shape rather than merely inherit. Once humiliated for her middle-class origins, she has now risen to become something far more powerful than a ceremonial queen waiting for her turn. She has become the guardian of the monarchy's existence and has brought about profound change to the palace. When the dust settled, the most unexpected royal revelation in modern history unfolded. The future of the monarchy was no longer a matter of speculation. Prince William, Princess Catherine, Princess Charlotte, and Prince George proudly revealed it to the public. Charlotte, calm and confident, captured the headlines and the hearts of the public with her natural grace and striking resemblance to Princess Diana and Queen Elizabeth. Her involvement in official duties signaled a major shift in her role from a child to a cornerstone in the next chapter of the crown. While Charlotte drew attention, George remained silent, yet alert, exuding the quiet composure of a future king. Though still young, his demeanor during the announcement displayed early signs of leadership. Not only through his duties, but also through a family that has chosen to nurture the monarchy with honesty rather than ego. Behind it all, William and Catherine are the quiet architects of a new royal era. Their images not only symbolize power, but also deliver a clear message. The future of the monarchy no longer relies on the throne or ancient bloodlines. Its strength now comes from the trust of the public emotional resonance and the integrity that the people can see. While Camilla and Charles retain their titles, their influence has subtly shifted quietly, but unmistakably. The generational shift has occurred not only in the UK, but also in the hearts of followers around the world. Charlotte and George are beginning to step into the legacy that awaits them. One undeniable truth remains: the crown not only endures, but is reborn, shaped by those destined to carry it forward. And there you have it, folks. The royal family has just dropped a bombshell with this massive announcement about Camilla. What does this mean for the future of the monarchy? Will her influence continue to shape royal affairs, or is a new era on the horizon? We want to hear your thoughts. Drop your comments below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more breaking news from the world of royalty. Stay tuned for updates. This story is far from